Okay, the string class. So what's up with the string class anyway? I mean, we've dealt with string values before, but we never made any mention of the string class. You'll recall that there are three primitive data types in Flash. There's the string, number, and Boolean. Well, a primitive data type doesn't have any of the bells and whistles of a reference data type. A reference data type, just to refresh your memory, is any kind of object. So an object has methods and properties that allow you to do some complex things with data. But a primitive data type doesn't allow that. So if you want to do anything complex with a string value, then you have to actually use a string class instance. So the string class is something that we call a wrapper class. A wrapper class is something that provides extra functionality to a primitive data type by wrapping it inside of an instance of that class. Now, with the string class, there are two ways that you can actually create an instance of that class. The first is to use the constructor as part of a new statement. So this is a familiar syntax to you. You can see in this example I've declared a string variable that I called sTitle, and then I've assigned to that the value that's returned by the new statement with a string constructor. The string constructor requires that you pass it a single parameter value, and that parameter should be a primitive string value. That primitive string value is the value that gets wrapped by the string class. In this case, that's ADVACTSCRT2-3. The other way that you can create an instance of the string class is to actually allow Flash to do that for you. It happens automatically anytime that you attempt to use a primitive string value as an instance of the string class. That means anytime you try to call a method or a property of the string class from a primitive string value, Flash is going to automatically create a new string class instance for you. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to both of these techniques. The obvious advantage of the latter technique is that you don't actually have to create the string instance manually. You don't have to use a constructor in order to do that. The disadvantage is that it's a little bit lazy and sloppy, and so you can see some performance hits, particularly when you're really needing to get the most out of the Flash player if you have a really complicated application. But let's face it, for most applications, that's not going to be the case. So oftentimes, it's acceptable to allow Flash to perform those automatic data type conversions for you.